What's going on, y'all? KM Best here, your favorite 69th ranked Marvel snapper with my best Day 1 Annihilus deck. This is the list, and the major inspiration behind it is that the Werewolf Bounce stuff is already very good. Right now, Annihilus as a card has what I like to call new card syndrome, which is a new card comes out, a lot of people play it. A lot of people play it, and a lot of people tried to counter it. Annihilus has this a little bit worse than most, because Annihilus counters Annihilus. Obviously, if you are putting all of the cards with negative power onto their board, them doing it back to you is very, very bad. So for that reason, the way I went with Annihilus was I wanted to take Annihilus in a direction that wasn't entirely reliant on playing Annihilus and was a little bit more resilient in the face of A, a mirror match, and B, specifically a bunch of destroy stuff. These are generally what you'd like to avoid with more dedicated Annihilus type decks. I was rewarded for this. I was pretty successful with this. I went from like 79 to like 65 with it. It was pretty damn solid, but I will say I'm not 100% sure it's the best use of the Wolf package. It is very good though, and I think the real superstar here is an incredibly underrated piece, Spider-Ham. You remember I talked about Annihilus mirrors. Spider-Ham is the Annihilus mirror breaker. That guy ends up being targetable by Spider-Ham a ton of the time, and making sure that they don't have Annihilus is phenomenal. It's also been known to hit things like Loki, things like Null. These are also great hits. Spider-Ham, I think, is the main reason why I wanted to put Annihilus in this shell. Yeah, sure, it overlaps with like the Hood or whatever. But the real question is just how do we get Spider-Ham into the Annihilus decks so we can win these mirrors? The Hood has obvious synergy with your Werewolf package and with your Annihilus package. One thing that is really good about this deck is a lot of the time you end up doing stuff like beasting and falconing a Hood. The actual card, the Hood, remains a little bit unplayable. This is why previous iterations of this type of core played Bast in order to make the Hood a bit of a more playable card late in the game. It is not uncommon to just have a Hood sitting in your hand on turn 6 with nothing to do with it, even though it costs 0, because getting a 0-cost Hood is very, very good. This allows Annihilus to add just a bit of a free addition of -3 power onto your opponent's board whenever you really feel like it. Pairing 1-cost cards that got reduced to 0 with Beast with Annihilus is one of the main draws of this archetype as a shell for the card. So, giving your opponent just here, take a -3. Oh, you filled it up? I don't really care. It's just a free roll that I get to have. That's really quite good, because a lot of the time you're ending up doing things like beasting it and falconing it, and it just sits there. Now it doesn't sit there anymore. I don't think I should have to explain why we're running Forge in our bounce shell version of Annihilus. Forge is an incredible card to bounce, and we are doing that because we like getting extra value out of our Beast and our Falcon. One interesting thing in this list is that you often do not want to target that 0-3 Hood, where some of the times in other lists you actually do. Because you are likely to send that 0-3 Hood over, there's even more incentive not to do it in this list. Spider-Ham is your anti-mirror hero. He will very often hit Annihilus. A lot of these Annihilus decks are built in such a way that the most expensive card in the deck is Annihilus, and the rest of the stuff is cheap junk type cards. You can beat them with Spider-Ham, and then you know your Annihilus will be uncontested. This also applies in the mirror. Again, most people playing this deck may not be running specifically Spider-Ham. You can get an edge by hitting their Annihilus, and if you don't hit their Annihilus, you have a pretty good idea based on what you do hit, whether or not they have it. Nico Minoru is core to all of these Werewolf bounce shells because she just gets the job done. I have gotten to the point where even if I have either one of Beast or Falcon in my hand, I won't even really go for value plays with Nico anymore. I'll just play her. I'll just be like, look, it's going to be fine. Getting this card twice is just good enough. And getting it 3 times is kind of unbelievable. Obviously, she keeps rolling when she comes back to your hand, so you can do things like, you know, put her to 4, and then she makes a demon, and then you do something else with her, like give another card +2, and she ends up being like a 110 or something like that. She's a card that's great to reuse. There are a couple of ones that are just like absolutely terrible that I almost never play. Move to the Right is typically that one, but most of the time, if I'm getting something useful out of her and I have a Beast in my hand, I'm kind of just running her out there. Black Widow's in a bit of a weird spot post Annihilus because there are a bunch of Destroy decks that will eat the Black Widow, Widow's Bite, and a bunch of Annihilus decks that are going to be like, all right, I'll send it back. That said, it's just still a little bit too strong with Beast, in my opinion. Dropping 2 draws off of them is kind of unbelievably strong. Like, it is really damn strong to deny 2 draws in a metagame like this. It is also just generally extremely good to force your opponent to put bad cards on the board, even if there's a little bit of anti-synergy here, right? Because like a smart opponent will start using that to clog up their lanes. When they clog up their lanes, your Annihilus doesn't send over as much stuff. Like, there is some of that in here, don't get me wrong, but she's still just good enough to run. Falcon, reusing your 1-drops and getting extra procs off of either all of the 1-drops or Werewolf by Night, or after they've been beasted, you get even more value off of the 1-drops, is kind of the core thing that this archetype does. This is a core card. Don't really think about cutting it. Shadow King is our best cheap removal here. One of the downsides is that you cannot play him on turn 6 alongside Annihilus. That does legitimately suck. That said, he is still quite powerful in this list. Please remember, not just that he is to be used on opposing werewolves and collectors and all that, but also that he can be used on things like the pig from your spider pig. He will set that to 0 power. No matter what the original card was, he will make that pig 0 power. Werewolf is your backup plan / primary plan some of the time. One of the things about the Annihilus shell is all of the cards that you're running to make Annihilus work, which is basically just Sentry, Annihilus in the hood, they all trigger Werewolf, which sort of pushes you in this direction. Sentry, Annihilus, the hood, all of those cards giving your cards extra power is very, very strong. And Werewolf is one of the main reasons that this deck works. The Werewolf bounce shell is quite powerful. Werewolf, obviously, a big part of that. Beast has multiple applications in here. Obviously, he works with the bounce strategy, but he's also a way for you to get rid of your void off of the Sentry when you don't have any other ways of doing that, right? You have Annihilus as your way of getting rid of the Sentry void, and you also have Beast, and that's actually pretty good. The fact that you have multiple redundancies for so many of these potentially negative cards is one of the reasons I like this shell for Annihilus the most, because it's not over-relying on Annihilus. It's got the option, but if you don't get Annihilus, you're not dead in the water. You still have a quality game plan that overlaps in basically every respect. Your hood is overlapping with your Beast and your Falcon and all of that stuff. You can get rid of the Sentry Void with this Beast as well, and all of that works well with Annihilus, but it also just sort of works well with what you're already doing. There's nothing in here that you're playing to sacrifice because it goes well with your strategy. There's none of that. You're only playing really good cards that also go well with your strategy. And there's usually multiple options for getting rid of any of the bad situations that cards like Sentry put you in. A 410 is quite a powerful card, but with Annihilus, Sentry becomes a 420. People will play very scared of that void on the right lane going over to your opponent. Getting some real beef into your deck is one of the problems that I've had in this archetype. We've tried things like Darkhawk before, and I think this is legitimately on par. This play is so damn powerful that it justifies the entire inclusion of the Annihilus package in the deck. A 420 that takes up one of your opponent's board spaces is legitimately one of the best cards in the game. Annihilus himself, the greatest Marvel Snap card of all. I'm joking. He's pretty good. I do think that right now he's suffering from a very specific situation wherein playing Annihilus kind of counters Annihilus. You can see even in our deck building, we've accounted for the Annihilus mirror as much as we possibly can. He's a very popular card right now, so he does have a target on his back, which is why what we're doing with this deck is playing him in a small package. We do not want to be over-invested in Annihilus because he is fairly easy to counter. We just want to put a little bit of him in there, enough to get good value, and enough for him to be a good card in the deck. That Sentry Annihilus curve is one of the best in the game. Collect your free wins with it. It is quite powerful. Because we want to specifically be drawing a lot of different cards, we are trying to run America Chavez here. If you don't want to run America Chavez, I think it's actually pretty close between running this card and running Shang-Chi right now. I opted for Chavez so I could see how the plan worked in a sort of self-contained way before adding more tech to it. That said, I mean, I do think Chavez has a lot of upside in an archetype like this. You're looking to do some very specific things. The more one drops into Beast you get, the better the deck is. I think probably the best hand this deck can have is something like the Hood, Black Widow, Beast, and then like a one drop in Falcon. That's unbelievable. You're taking 2 draws off. You're getting free hoods that make demons. You're mixing it all up in there. You are going to go absolutely berserk when you have hands like that because they're going to be dragged down to below your level when you're generating a bunch of free stuff off of the Hood that now costs 0. Now you also have the upside of drawing into things like that make your Hood -3 to their side. It's just very, very, very powerful. Even when it's not working, but when it goes off, like I almost feel like I should snap every game that I have that kind of opener in it. It is that powerful. All right, y'all, that's going to be it from me. I know people are going to be asking me, hey, KM, should I buy Annihilus? And I think right now, I would say that he is pretty clearly a tier below cards like current Loki, release Elsa, current Werewolf, Nico, things of that nature, Jeff, maybe even Iron Lad. I think that he is also best used in concert with a lot of those cards. I do not think that just buying him to run him in junk is going to do very well for you right now because of the preponderance of other people trying less highly invested Annihilus strategies, and of course playing decks like Destroy that are very good against that highly invested Annihilus strategy. He strikes me as a powerful card whose time is not exactly now, but it could be a very, very strong card in the future. This deck, I think, is competitive with anything in the game. But the major question is there ever a reason to run this over something like Loki? Is there ever a reason to run this over something like the Darkhawk version? I think it's very much competitive with the Darkhawk version, maybe better, not sure. As far as Loki, I think that suddenly becomes like a different question, right? Like the major reason I think you can run, say, the Gladiator Darkhawk version is the inclusion of Shang-Chi, but we cut Shang-Chi, and now it's a little bit more awkward for me to say that this is like definitely better. I do think it's probably better than the Gladiator Darkhawk version. I think that it is maybe on par with the Darkhawk version, and we'll see about Loki stuff, but this is also, I would say, possibly the least exciting way to use Annihilus because everyone is so invested in beating him. If you're all in on him, you're going to lose more than you win. So you can't be all in on him. That said, the fact that this deck has succeeded to this degree, even in a metagame where everyone seems to be prepared for him, does make me pretty optimistic on him. I would not recommend buying him right now because you have a couple more days to make an informed decision. So please keep an eye on the channel. We'll probably do a couple more Annihilus videos in the future, maybe a dedicated one to figure out whether or not he's actually worth buying. But I am not in the business of telling you to buy stuff if it's not, very obviously overpowered. And this is not very obviously overpowered. It's a pretty good card, and it might end up being a great card in other contexts. Right now, it's having the high evolutionary problem, where it came out and everyone just put Luke Cage in the deck. And it's like, okay, well, that kind of sucks. So I do expect numbers on this guy to be pretty bad for a little bit, but we will see how it shakes out a little bit later in the week. As always, I've been KM Best. You've been phenomenal. Remember, like, subscribe, hit that notification button. I really appreciate it. Dopamine chemicals go burr every time you do. I will see you in the next one. We're going to jump right now into some gameplay. Yeah, she's not a 2/6 anymore. She's a 1/4. I think I'm just supposed to play the Nico out. Thank you. Oh, I'm actually kind of legitimately interested in that, aren't I? Oh, multiple hoods. Multiple hoods, you say? What you got there? I got a milkshake. Got a Shang. Love it. That leaves the demon there. That's all right. Whoa, they snapped me. Why are they snapping me? Okay. Okay. Can I win this? I have no idea. Yes, I can. Okay, we did it. Heart of the cards, baby. Play cards and hope is my favorite strategy. Normally, we'd go for the Nico thing here. Actually, we probably still do. That's some shit. Is the strat not play any without Prio? We were trying to do that last game, yes. Okay, so our Annihilus doesn't do anything here. Our Annihilus does nothing, our Shadow King does nothing. The perfect counter deck, chat. The perfect counter deck. Annihilus? Nah. Shadow King? Nah. We don't even have cards this game, dog. Huh. Sure. Yeah, that's Luke. That's Luke. Okay, so we can go Hood. We go Demon. We go... Wait. Sure. Fair enough. Okay, Gambling Prince. For the love of God, stop shilling. I've told you multiple times. I need you to stop shilling. I know you're excited. But I can tell you right now, those Storm decks have a win rate below 50% on Untapped. They seem quite not promising. Oh, got a debris. What am I supposed to do with a Punisher variant? Great question. All right, Nico, what are you right now? Destroy it and draw 2. Okay, so we can go like... So we can go like this. I'd imagine this wins the game. I'd imagine having 8 energy and a 7-card hand on this turn wins the game, probably. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Let's go. Oh my god. I'm getting farmed? They're farming me? Well, I'll lose 8 here. I don't mind. Go ahead. Do it. Whatever it is. Yo, they fucking... Oh my god. Okay, we drew the card. We're popping. That's unfortunate. Tracker and such? Oh, is it just not... Oh, right. I'm on the wrong scene. There we go. I think it's important that I get this down as fast as I can. Yes, we hit the Loki. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Spider-Ham pulls that over there. Pulls it back over there. Okay. All right. Bear. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Are they aware that I just won the game? I think they are. I don't think investing in it fully is the issue, right? Or at least that's not what we want to be doing with it. Investing in it fully seems like potentially a potential way to get... Am I not showing the decks on screen on purpose? No, my fucking tracker sucks. Okay, so destroy. Never mind, I got no idea what that is. The hell is that? I don't know, maybe this works. Oh my god, it actually did work. Holy shit, we're cooking. Oh my god, we're cooking so hard. Why not snap? Because they can fill that up. Is there any reason to do this? I don't care. The answer is to dodge Shang, right? What are they cooking? Okay, they're cooking nothing. What the fuck? What do you mean? I didn't know it was turn 5. No, it's not turn 5 now. It will be turn 5 by the time I can do anything. Is it? We're not fine. No, we set up that whole thing for a beast. If I go like, do we just instantly win? I have no idea. Wolf moves. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I just feel like this is a pretty strong play regardless. The rope is real. It's fine. Oh. Yeah, we got him. We got him. God, we did everything right. We did everything right. Better player wins, for sure. Why did you do that, dude? I see. Oh, we did it again! Spider Ham's so good! Spider Ham! The GOAT! I don't know, maybe. Okay, we got him. Ghost would have been fine if they played Annie turn 6. That's kind of what we were playing around. When they played the Annie on 5, it was like, oh, okay. Oh, Gucci main? Yeah, the better Gucci. Pre-clone Gucci main. Disruption. Oh, that's a good hit. Whoa, they snapped me. Why'd they do that? Why'd they do that? Got 2 cards in hand. I'm guessing you have a Shang. I don't think that's that, like, whoa, it's a Shang. You know? You Shang me one place, I'll put a guy that needs to be Shanged in another, right? So they have Viper, Demon, Vibranium here. We hit their Annihilus! This is why the Spider Ham is in the deck, by the way. This is the exact fucking reason. Fuck you. We get Annihilus. You don't get Annihilus. We're fucking cooking. Now that Void just loses you that shit. This is exactly why we did this. It's exactly the reason. Now, we could still lose, I think. But I don't think we will. Spider Ham! That's my goat right there, dog. Spider Ham! Do we lose to their Annihilus? We would have lost to their Annihilus. Now we don't. Yes, indeed! Wait, do you still beat me? Holy shit. Alright, goddamn. No! Are you fucking serious? Oh!